right, the only thing different about today's lesson is that we're subtracting. Everything else is the same. We're still finding like denominators, and our strategy is to what? Multiply
The
the denominators to come up with a new one. So let's start with a.
Box is
Okay, I don't need your comments. So the first fraction shows 1/3, and I need you to write 1/3 below. The second fraction, we're going to use horizontal lines, and we'll show 1/4 below. Now I want to be very specific. On your exit ticket, I'm going to count it wrong if you don't write it like this. Somebody forgot to write up here, and I circled it, wrote -1. So please write it like I'm asking you to. There's a reason for it. It's not just because I'm picky. You'll get to it in lesson 9. All right, so what's my new denominator here?
12.
Okay, that's the next step. Now that I know my new denominator, I'm going to divide my shapes with horizontal and vertical lines. My numerator, remember on our video that he did some circling here? So 4 shaded and 3 shaded. Here's what some kids are skipping. 4/12, and we're subtracting today. Subtract 3/12 equals 1/12. Now, remember back to that whole 5 or 6-year-old thing we were talking about?
Yes.
Now, technically, do you like my blue?
Yes. Yes.
Technically, you can cross off those 3 you're taking away. But I really feel like we're past that point in 5th grade. So I'm fine with you just subtracting. All right, everyone understand what I need you to make sure and write?
Yes.
Okay, let's do B. I saw something in block 2 that kind of concerned me. So can you look up here for just a minute? I saw that the child went ahead and drew that before they shaded. Right here on the floor. Unless Emmett was the problem, then he can get on the floor. So make sure you're shading before you combine all the lines. Okay, 2/3 and 1/2. Rudy, what's my new like denominator?
6.
6. How'd you get that?
2 times 3 equals 6.
2 times 3 equals 6. Good. Now we'll add the lines to both. Really, the only mistake you might possibly make besides counting wrong on your numerators would be adding instead of subtracting. I did have some kids do that earlier. Okay, feeling pretty confident? We're going to do one more, and then I'll probably let you practice the rest of these on your own and just check with mine. I want to do this one together because we are going to practice simplifying. Whenever I have a large denominator, chances are I'm going to have to simplify. Okay, Whitley, help me out. What's my new denominator? For C. Are you already on D?
No.
Okay, good. So what's my new one? I didn't hear you.
21.
24?
Sorry, that's why I'm 24.
I knew it was. I knew it was. Okay. And I'm shading 1/4 here. So already I can tell this is going to be a pretty large number because I'm going to have so many shaded boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So 20 24ths minus 6 24ths equals what, Brian?
14, 20.
14 24ths. Okay, when you get to this point, stop and look up here. Okay, I know 14 24ths needs to be simplified because they're both divisible by 2. Is there another factor they share? Think of 14. Will 7 go into 24? No. So 2's the one. I wanted you to think of that, Emmett. So we're going to divide by 2 on both of these. Please write that. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. I know that's simplified now. How do I know? 7, what's 7?
I made that mistake.
A prime number. You made a mistake?
No, I made that mistake because I was looking at the other problem.
Okay. Okay, let's take a look at E. On E, would you please go step by step with me on this problem?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have your area models drawn, ready to go?
Nope.
So the first area model I will divide into fourths and shade 3 of them. I know, I've got a squeaky pen today.
Wait, that's a pen?
This is.
Oh my.
When you do eighths, boys and girls, can't you just do fourths and then divide it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So you really should not mess up on eighths if you're concentrating. And shade 3 of those. So I have 3/4 minus 3/8. All right. Maria, what's my new denominator for 4 and 8? 32. We're using the strategy of multiplying the 2 together. Here I can see that you might make a mistake on your numerator if you hurried on your drawing, so just be careful. Adele, what can I count by here to figure this out real quick?
8.
I could. Or I was thinking 3s. 3,
Yeah.
6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. What? 24. Or 8 times 3 is 24. You're right. And over here, what could I count by real quick? 4, 8, 12. Now rewriting this 24 30-seconds minus 12 30-seconds equals, right, and the only reason why I say 30 seconds is because I've heard my dad read his tape measure. Yeah, and he says 30 seconds. So
Sounds weird if you
Yeah.
say 32.
okay, so let's take a look at, are you ready, Adele?
Yes, I am.
Let's take a look at this. I'm going to use someone from block 1 as an example. I said, well, it looks like we're going to have to simplify this one. She said, yeah, I divided by 2. And I said, well, how many times did you have to divide by 2? And she said, 3 times. And I said, well, I'm not interested in that. So here's what we're going to do. Remember, you're practicing a strategy here for when you need it, only when you need it. We know that 12 and 32 both share a factor of 2, but there's a larger one. Help me out with my factors of 12 here. Brian, don't tell me the answer yet. Tell me my factors.
1,
2 and
12, 2, 6, 3, 4.
Okay, Jules, tell me the factors of 32.
Okay. 1, 32, 2, 11.
16. We don't have that one memorized, do we? So we would have had to figure that out.
16.
There's no 3,
4, 8.
and that's good enough. Okay, so what's the largest factor that
4.
these two...
4.
So let's divide by 4. Then we'll only have to simplify once instead of 3 times. 12 divided by 4 is
3.
32 divided by 4 is, and that's simplified.